Okay, we're doing valid parentheses, super common LeetCode question. I have 4% on my battery, so let's get through this quick. We need to output a Boolean, which is basically going to output true or false based on whether these parentheses are being opened and closed. For an example, in input 1, all of these parentheses are correctly open and closed. They both have their partner. So this would output true. However, in this output, you can see that there's not a correct pair for this parentheses, so we output false. This is basically just going to check each parentheses one by one and output whether it's true or false. So we're going to first call a stack, an empty stack, and then we're going to create a map. So a map, in this case, is all of these parentheses, and we're going to be comparing each parentheses. For example, if the loop comes across this closing bracket, it must check in the map for an opening bracket, like this. Let's just copy it for time's sake. This takes the most amount of time. I'm going to do this 3 times. So for this squiggly bracket, it's going to check an opening bracket. And for this square bracket, it's going to check for an opening bracket. That map should be good, but I'm going through this quick, so I can't really tell. Okay, so now we're going to do a for loop. For character in S, if, now we're going to do it, we're going to check if it's in the map, if char in map, and now we're going to create our logical statement. If stack is not empty, and stack at the position of -1 is equal to map char. What does this mean? It means, see, there's not a really good example of that in here. Let's just do it here. It basically says, if this position of this parenthesis is the same as that exact of this parentheses, because it's the -1, it's in the position of the parentheses behind it, it must mean that there's no logical error, like this. In this example, it would check these two and it would say this parentheses is not the same as this parentheses, so it is automatically going to output a false. So we're going to stack.pop if it is true. Remember, that's a function call. Else, if that does not meet the requirements, we need to output false. So we're going to return false. Now, if the character is in map and it's neither of these, we're going to simply append. So that's going to look like stack.append. We're going to append to our stack, and we're going to append that character, because it's going to have, is basically appending to our stack that we have multiple parentheses. So it's adding. So this is probably the most difficult part. So I'll try to just explain it. In Python, an empty stack equals false. So our logic is that we want an empty stack. That means that all of the parentheses have been popped because they have been correctly assigned a partner. And so for us, an empty stack actually means true. So you want to write the opposite of that. Say it would be if return true if not stack. So the not is basically saying it's the opposite, right? So a true stack is a full stack. A not stack is a false stack, which means that it's empty, which for us means it's true. It's hard to wrap your head around, but I mean, this is the whole point of LeetCode. So as long as I haven't done any mistakes, let's run that and see if it comes out fine. Return false. Oh, I just missed, didn't do a capital. In all cases have run a runtime of 0 milliseconds. So this is super efficient. It literally beats 100%. Yeah, very simple question. A little bit of logical tricks to trying to get you confused, but this is a very common LeetCode question. Thank you.